Your coworker just called you incompetent in front of the entire team. You felt it, that heat rising in your chest, your mind already crafting the perfect comeback, the one that would silence the room and put them in their place. And in that split second, you're one sentence away from damaging your reputation and your career, maybe even your peace. But here's what most people never realize. Nearly 2,000 years ago, Epictetus was mocked, dismissed, and treated as inferior. Not just insulted, but enslaved. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while being criticized, betrayed, and judged constantly. And instead of reacting emotionally, they trained themselves to become untouchable, not by winning arguments, not by humiliating their enemies, but by mastering something far more powerful. Today, I'm going to show you 3 Stoic strategies that will allow you to handle insults, even from co-workers, even from family, without losing control, without losing dignity, and without losing yourself. And the third one is the shift that makes insults lose their power forever. Method 1. Separate the event from the judgment. Epictetus taught something radical. It's not what happens to you, but how you interpret it. In other words, the insult itself is just sound waves, air moving, a vibration hitting your ear. The suffering begins when you add a judgment. This is disrespect. This proves I'm not valued. Everyone must think I'm incompetent. The Stoics trained themselves to pause in that microscopic gap between event and interpretation. Imagine this in real time. Your coworker says, "You clearly don't know what you're doing." Instead of reacting, you ask internally, "Is that objectively true? Or is that simply an opinion?" If there's truth in it, good. You've just received free feedback. If there isn't, then it's merely someone else's perspective, and perspectives are not facts. This one mental habit alone can save you years of emotional exhaustion. And here's the paradox. When you don't rush to defend yourself, you appear stronger, controlled, dangerous in your calm. Method 2. Refuse to perform. Most insults are invitations. They invite you to react, to argue, to prove yourself, to step into a psychological arena where the other person controls the tempo. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." When someone insults you publicly, they are often performing. They want an audience, they want energy. The Stoic response: don't perform back, calm eye contact, measured tone, short response, or sometimes no response at all. Silence, when chosen deliberately, is not weakness, it's discipline. Think about it. If someone throws a punch and you don't swing back wildly, but instead remain grounded and composed, who looks more stable? In meetings, in family dinners, in relationships, the person who stays centered controls the atmosphere. You don't need to humiliate someone to win, you simply need to remain unshaken. And when people realize they cannot provoke you, something interesting happens. They stop trying. If this mindset is strengthening you already, take a moment to subscribe to Stoic Spring. You're not just following a channel. You're building the daily habit of protecting your inner peace and growing in emotional maturity. And over time, that quiet discipline transforms your entire life. Method 3. See the source, not the surface. This is the shift that changes everything. When someone insults you, your instinct is to focus on yourself. Why would they say that about me? The Stoics reversed the lens. Instead of asking, "What does this say about me?" they asked, "What does this reveal about them?" Seneca wrote extensively about anger, describing it as a temporary madness, a loss of self-governance. When someone publicly belittles you, what are they revealing? Insecurity, pressure, fear of losing status, emotional immaturity. This doesn't mean you become arrogant or dismissive. It means you stop internalizing what doesn't belong to you. If your boss humiliates you in front of others, perhaps they're under pressure. Perhaps they lack leadership skills. Perhaps they were never taught how to give constructive feedback. You can acknowledge the situation without absorbing the poison. That is emotional sovereignty. And here's the deeper truth. When you stop seeing insults as personal attacks and start seeing them as data about human behavior, you become a student of life rather than a victim of circumstances. That shift alone creates psychological distance, and in that distance you find freedom. Now let's connect the 3 methods. First, you separate the insult from your interpretation. Second, you refuse to perform emotionally. Third, you reinterpret the situation through a wider lens of human nature. Together, these form a shield. Not a shield of arrogance, but a shield of clarity. You begin to realize that most people are fighting invisible battles, and many insults are simply pain looking for a target. When you understand this, you don't become colder, you become steadier. In a world where people duel with tweets, argue in comment sections, and sabotage their own careers over wounded pride, the rare individual who remains composed stands out. That person earns trust. That person earns respect. That person becomes difficult to manipulate. And here's the final insight. Handling insults isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about training it. Your ego will want revenge. Your pride will demand a response. That reaction is natural. But discipline is choosing long-term strength over short-term satisfaction. The coworker who insulted you, they may be forgotten in a few years, but the reputation you build for composure, maturity, and emotional control, that stays. So next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this. You are not obligated to attend every argument you're invited to. Pause, observe, choose. And if you're serious about strengthening this mindset daily, subscribe to Stoic Spring. By doing so, you're committing to protect your peace and to grow in emotional maturity. And that quiet growth will impact every area of your life. Now tell me in the comments, what's the last insult that tested your composure? Let's turn it into strength.